We're
Quiet
trying.
down, quiet down, quiet down.
Alright.
I want the raw recording of this joke.
Okay. Okay. So, are you recording it?
I am. I've been recording for like the last 10 minutes.
Okay. Here we go. This is the, I call it the clown joke. So, once upon a time...
Why do you call it that?
Because you'll see in a second. No
Okay.
spoilers. This
How
is
does
Star
this
Wars.
make you feel?
Honestly, a little bit depressing, but shut up. So listen, once upon a time, there was a kid named Billy. And Billy loved clowns. He fucking loved clowns. He was insane for clowns. He got the fucking 500 thread count clown fucking bed sheets. He got the clown suit, like 500 thread count clown suit. Because, you know, suits and bed sheets, only things you need 500 thread count. Anyway, clown underwear, clown-based clothing, like, everything clown, like clown books, fucking pictures of clowns, drawings of clowns. He loved to draw clowns. Clowns are amazing. Guy loves clowns. That's the like long and short of it. And he's like 8 years old, right? So his parents obviously understand and know his fucking love of clowns. So Billy rather, loves clowns. We've accepted this fact. His parents, knowing this love of clowns, go ahead and they go, well, listen, the circus is coming to town on Billy's 9th birthday. So how about we grab a pair of tickets and go on down? And so Billy gets wind of this on his 9th birthday. Holy shit, Billy. We're going to the fucking circus. He loses his goddamn mind. Oh, I can't believe we're going to the circus. We're going to go see the fucking clown. So they go to the circus, and it's a good time, you know? It's absolutely fucking packed in there on those like metal like risers. I mean, just it's like sold out. And so you have the animal trainers, you know, like the a cat riding a fucking horse. You got the lions and the tigers and like the lion tamers and the tiger tamers, obviously as well. You have the acrobats and they're doing all their flashy shit. You have the sword swallowers and fire eaters, and they're doing okay. But now it's like an hour and a half in the show, and the show's only like 2 hours. And Billy's getting a little bit worried, right? Because he hasn't seen a single fucking clown yet. And here's the thing about clowns. Like, this is a little known clown fact for you who aren't Billy and don't know your clown facts. Clowns usually, during a circus act, they only come out if something goes wrong. That's where the phrase "send in the clowns" comes from. So they have not had to send in the clowns yet because the show's going fantastically. And Billy's like starting to sweat it a little bit, right? He's like, where are these fucking clowns? Not like that because he's 9, does not occur. So he's getting worried, right? And like his parents can sense him, he's getting worried. And they're starting to worry as well because he's getting worried. But anyway, the lights go down all of a sudden, right? As the last act kind of shambles off. And the lights go down and up starts the music. Bump, bump, banana, bump, bump. You know, the fucking, the music. That circus music. And so Billy's like, what's going on? Holy shit. And all the lights come down. And a single spotlight is in the center of the, I guess, rings? The field? The circus ground? And out of the darkness, putting along is a little fucking clown car. And Billy starts losing his fucking shit. He can't believe this. This is actually happening. He's going to see a clown in the flesh. This is the greatest thing that ever happened to his little 9-year-old fucking body. So this clown car, puttering around, ends up in the center stage with a spotlight on it. And the doors fly open. And here come the fucking clowns, right? You got your big and your small clowns, your fat, your thin clowns. You got your clowns of every race, creed, religion, ethnicity, black, white, red, you know, some are even green, but they have the white paint on them, you know, tall and short, everything in between. And finally, out of the car, after like 30 fucking clowns, out of the car comes this one really weird looking clown. I want to say he's weird because you can't really describe him as anything that I've used to describe clowns with so far. You know, he's not particularly tall, but he's not like a short guy, and he's not like fat, but you wouldn't really call him a thin clown either. So this clown comes out, and he all the other clowns shuffle off into the darkness, like cockroaches back into the shadow. And so this new clown, this essence of clown, this cream of clown, he looks around the audience and he goes, "I need a volunteer." And so, before the words are even out of his mouth, Billy is up and he's screaming, "Me, me, me," with all the enthusiasm a 9-year-old can muster, right? He's sweating, he's shaking, he wants to be down on that field with that clown so fucking badly. And the clown looks around the audience, scanning it, and it's absolutely packed, and it's really hot in there. And he settles on Billy, and he goes, "You, young master, come on down onto the field." And so Billy, I can't believe it. He's escorted down on the field, and he goes up and he runs into the light with this clown. And the clown looks at him, and he goes, "Well, young sir, I have a couple questions to ask." And Billy goes, of course, go ahead, ask me the question." And the clown goes, "Well, first off, what's your name?" And Billy goes, "Oh, my name's Billy." And the clown goes, "Okay, Billy, let me ask you, are you a horse's head?" And Billy, doesn't really get it. He's like, "Haha, no, no, I'm not a horse's head." The clown goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're not a horse's head. Well then, if you're not a horse's head, are you a horse's body?" And Billy's like, "Haha, no, 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 I'm not a horse's body either." And the clown's like, "Oh, I apologize, my mistake. So you're not a horse's head and you're not a horse's body. Are you a horse's leg?" And Billy goes, "Ah," he's laughing me harder, and he got butterflies in his stomach. He's getting kind of nervous now. And Billy goes, no, I'm not a horse's leg." And the clown goes, "Oh, well, it seems to me that if you're not a horse's head, and you're not a horse's body, and you say you're not a horse's leg, you must be a horse's ass." And everyone in the crowd goes fucking wild. What a great joke. The delivery of it was so impeccable. And Billy, something inside little Billy breaks. He is filled with shame and disgust, embarrassment, and for the first time in this boy's young life, certainly not the last, Billy is filled with betrayal, a sense of betrayal. Here's this clown, this idol of his that he's been looking up for his entire life. And it may be short, but it's still his entire life to him is 100%. And this clown has made a mockery of him in front of the entire audience. And so Billy is filled with embarrassment and betrayal. And he goes back up. He's escorted back up into the loving arms of his parents. But right away they notice that something is wrong. He's not talking, he's not laughing at the show anymore. He's head down the entire time. So they go back to the house and he falls asleep on the ride there. And Billy's dad carries him up to the bed. And he's woken. His parents are woken to the smell of smoke and the fire alarm's going off a couple hours later. And they run into Billy's room and they find that he's burned everything that has to do with clowns in any way, shape, or size. Gone are his curtains, his sheets. He's taken off his own underwear to burn it. And this is a boy who loved clowns for his entire life. So more or less everything in his closet, everything in his room, ashes. So Billy is sent to therapy. A couple years of therapy with a child psychologist, and they never come closer to sort of crack of why he would do such a thing. And he never really gets better. He never really heals. But a couple years go by, and the day before he goes into high school as a freshman, Billy asks to speak with his parents, and they sit down in the living room. And Billy goes, "Listen, I love you two very much, my parents, and so I have a favor to ask of you guys." And his parents go, of course, Billy, you're a favorite. Like, what can we do for you? We do anything." And Billy goes, "Well, I'm becoming a man now, and I would simply like if you guys could stop calling me Billy." And they go, "Well, what do you want us to call you, Billy? Excuse us." And Billy goes, "I want you to call me Bill from now on." And his parents go, "Oh, of course. Billy is a little bit boyish and a little bit childish. We can call you Bill. That's not a problem." And he goes, thank you. And the next day he goes into high school. And his high school career is just an upward trajectory from day one. He ascends to the heavens almost. He is a model student. He is idolized by his peers. He is a team captain on every varsity team he's on, which, by the way, is all of them for every sport. He plays 12 seasons of every sport. He is interested in engineering and mathematics. He is a STEM student, and he crushes it. Like, by the time he's a sophomore, he's in calculus too. Like, genius, clearly born to be in this field. You know, a natural talent. Excuse me. So, the faculty all love him. You know, he's just an amazing student with such passion and drive to everything he approaches. He did theater. He did all these advanced courses, AP courses. Almost scored 100 on the AP on the SAT. I mean, it got to the point where he graduated valedictorian, and he was accepted into every single college in America, even the ones he didn't apply to. And some of them were offering free alcohol after he turned 21, just to kind of sweeten the deal, you know? He could have played any sport anywhere, you know? Being contacted by coaches all around the U.S. for every sport: football, basketball, swimming, rowing, even. And so, the day after he graduated, this idle student goes to his parents and he says, "We need to talk." And his parents, you know, say, "Okay." And they all sit down in the living room again. And Bill goes, "I'm not going to college." His parents are kind of taken aback, and they go, "Oh, okay. Well, what do you want to do? Do you want to take a maybe a gap year?" And he goes, "No, I don't think college is for me." And they go, "Oh, okay. Well, you're gonna go into a vocation. You know, you're certainly good at engineering. I'm sure you can find some sort of work in that related field." He goes, "No, you don't understand. A couple years ago, as you know, I was deeply hurt. I was scarred emotionally. There's a black mark on my soul from that incident, which I'm sure you know what I'm referring to, and I'd prefer you don't mention it." And his parents go, "Oh, of course. You know, we know what you're talking about. You have been different since then." And so Bill goes, "Well, I think I've found the way to fix myself, to heal. I'm going to China." And they go, "You're going to China? For what for? What could it possibly be in China? To help you heal, you say?" And he goes, "I'm going to join a monastery. I'm going to become a monk. I'm going to join the monastery of, it's the Heavenly Order. Excuse me. It's the monastic brothers of the Heavenly Fist of Comebackary." And they go, "Wow, that's a mouthful." And he goes, "Yeah, but that's where I'm going. And if you love me and accept me, you'll understand why I need to do this." And his parents go, "Of course, of course. You know, we're a little bit disappointed in that you wouldn't choose a career here in the U.S. But if this is what you think you have to do, then by God, Bill, we stand behind you 100%. So a week later, Bill buys a ticket to China. He flies to Hong Kong, makes his way overland to the mountains of Tibet. He hikes up, and he approaches the Holy Order of the monastic brothers of the Heavenly Fist of Comebackary. And so he knocks on the door, and a young monk about his age, a little bit older, maybe 25, he's 18, opens. And the monk says, in some mixture of broken Chinese and English, I imagine, because Bill at this point I don't think understands Chinese. He certainly could get the gist of it with some like hand signals. But the monk says, "We've been waiting for you. We've been watching your approach ever since you entered Tibet, and the high elders have realized that you're the one that we've been prophesizing. Your soul is scarred, marked, degraded with some black day, some incident that happened years ago. And usually you have to wait 3 days and nights to enter a monastery. But in these peculiar and unnatural circumstances, we've decided to let you in today. And so young Bill enters and becomes a brother of the Holy Order of Monks of the Heavenly Fist of Combackery. And while he's there, he, just like when he was in high school, becomes a model student, passionate and driven. He does struggle the first few weeks because even though he was a star athlete, the level of rigor instilled upon these monks' lives is just to a new level and another category that he's not been able to master yet. And so Bill tries and tries, but after those few weeks, he becomes again a model student. He picks up everything incredibly quickly. He learns all the sacred arts of jests and japes and catcalls and jokes and eventually, yes, even comebacks. No more spirit of the stairs for him. He knows what to say. His quick wits are sharpened to a fine, fine edge by the rigorous training he does. And so young Bill spends 10 years. 10 years pass as a brother of the Holy Order of the Heavenly Fists of Combackery. And after 10 years and becoming a revered student and a venerated brother of this Holy Order, young Bill, now old Bill, 28, 29, goes to the young monk, now old monk, who had opened the door for him originally, and he goes, "Brother monk, I've been here for a decade. I've been here for a majority of my life almost. And now I ask a favor of you." And this brother monk says, "Of course, Bill. What can we do for you? I mean, what you have been nothing but a bounty to us since you have arrived, and to do any favor, no matter how small, would be an honor for us." And Bill looks at this brother monk, who he's grown, who really is a brother at this point. 10 years under this in the same dojo, training every day. And Bill looks at him and says, "I want you to teach me the ultimate comeback." Now the monk stops. And he goes, "Bill, you have to understand, I have to think on this, I have to meditate on this." And Bill, as a monk, understands the importance of meditation and self-reflection. So Bill, of course, grants him his leave. And so first a few hours and then days. After a week, Brother Monk comes back and goes, "Bill, I've been pondering your request. And after a week, I realize that I cannot grant it." And of course, Bill is disappointed by this turn of events. Bill asks, "Brother Monk, why can't you do this one favor for me? What is the issue here? What conflict has arisen?" Excuse me while I take this drink. And the Brother Monk looks at him and says, "Bill, you've been here for 10 years training with us, but truly, the ultimate comeback has been within you the entire time." And now Bill just he doesn't understand. He can't believe this. He goes, "What?" Internally, he's in complete turmoil. A tempest, a storm has arisen within his soul. He can't understand it. What? How could you say this? What do you mean? He doesn't say this out loud, of course, but he turns to Brother Monk, and he goes, "Of course, thank you." And so Bill meditates. Days turn to weeks, turn to months, and a year passes before Bill reaches enlightenment, at least in this one area. And he realizes this Brother Monk was right. The ultimate comeback has been within him the entire time. And so Bill goes to the Brother Monk and says, "I need to leave. I'm leaving. I'm debarking from the monastery." He packs up his things and begins the long trek back down from the mountains of Tibet into mainland China. He stays on a farm, working as a farmhand, tending to the animals, tending to the crops, saving every yen he gets so that he can one day buy it, take it back to the US. Months go by again, and a small love affair with a beautiful Chinese farmer's daughter. But that story is neither here nor there, rather. And so Bill eventually stays up and goes back to the US. The cab from the airport drops him off in front of his parents' house. And the second he steps out, he realizes everything has changed. His parents' house, his house, that he lived in for so many years, boarded up, shuttered, the weeds overgrown in the lawn. Asking around, he finds his parents dead. Horrible, horrible BDSM accident. Tragic, truly. His friends that he loved and knew in high school, dead or moved on. Gone, long gone from this god-forsaken town. Now Bill, walking the streets of his decrepit, run-down shanty town now, comes upon a telephone pole, and upon this telephone pole, his salvation. A flyer for the circus. And Bill knows what he has to do. He buys a ticket to the circus, and you wouldn't say that this circus is, it's not being filled out completely. There's plenty of tickets to spare. So, Bill goes to the circus that day. And of course, much like the town, the effects of the local economy are reflected in the appearance of the circus. First off, the tent is patched up and ratty and not in such good shape, but he goes in and there's almost no one in the audience, and it's him and like a handful of people. The lions and tigers, and even the lion and tiger tamers, all emaciated, looking much thinner than they did 10 years ago. They've had to get new sword swallowers and fire eaters. Acrobats are moving a little bit slower, a little gray showing, a little flab here and there. And now Bill's starting to get worried. It's about an hour and a half into the show, and he hasn't seen a single fucking clown yet. And it's been so long since the last circus, the first and only circus he's been to, that he doesn't even realize that there are no clowns on the sideline to be sent in should the act go wrong and need distraction. So he's getting worried. But eventually, one act shuffles off into the dark, the lights go down, and the music groans into life. You know the music. Dun 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 dun. Slow, like the pianist or the organist rather is having a stroke at the keyboard. And an old, decrepit looking, run down, rusted up, smart car looking car rolls into view, puttering along. There's a single spotlight, and it stops in the spotlight, engine dying and all, and the doors fly open on their rusted hinges, and out come all the clowns. Looking a little bit older now, but they're all there, black and white, short and tall, skinny and fat, of all races, ethnicity, creed, and religion, come the clowns. But Bill's worried, because the clown, the one, you know the one, nowhere in sight. He hasn't gone out of the car. All the clowns shuffle off into the dark, and he's still nowhere to be seen. But from the darkness does come a single a cough, filled with age and rheumatoid arthritis. And into the spotlight shuffles a little clown. And you wouldn't call him fat, but you wouldn't call him short, or fat or thin rather. And you wouldn't call him tall, but you certainly wouldn't call him short either. The essence of clown distilled into human form, the cream of clown, if you would. And this clown, old and decrepit, looking like he's aged 30 years in the past 10, looks around the audience, the dozen or so people that are there, and goes, I need a volunteer. And before the words are even out of his mouth, Bill, grown man, up, yelling sternly, me, me, me. And the clown, old and decrepit, gives a perfunctory look around the audience and sees only Bill standing at attention. You, sir, says the clown, come on down and be my volunteer. No escort needed this time. Bill vaults himself over the guardrail, onto the floor, and strides proudly to this clown. Sitting in the spotlight, Bill is no longer anxious or nervous. He gets no butterflies this time. The clown looks at him and goes, well, sir, what's your name? And Bill goes, Bill. The clown goes, well, Bill, let me ask you, are you a horse's head? No! Like a shot in the dark, Bill's one syllable pierces through the blackness of the empty arena. And the clown, no one but taken aback, then he's with this grown-ass man to yell at him. He goes, oh, whoa, excuse me, Bill, if you're not a horse's head, are you a horse's body? No, again comes the cry, like a refrain now, to this clown's dirge. No, says Bill. The clown is visibly shaken at this point, you know. Bill is strong, powerful, tall, yelling no in this clown's face. The clown adjusts his collar and, well, excuse me, if you're not a horse's head and you're not a horse's body, are you a horse's leg? No! Louder now, with more force, emphasis. Bill putting his body behind it. No! I'm not a horse's leg. And the clown is sweating, ruining his makeup, coming off, and just dabbing his face with a damp handkerchief. And he goes, well, sir, I have to say, if you're not a horse's head and you're not a horse's body, and you say you're not a horse's leg, you must be a horse's ass. Silence. Dead silence in the arena. No rousing cheer comes up from the audience this time. Bill's no longer anxious. He's no longer nervous. He grabs the clown by the scruff of the neck, bringing him close, towering over him with his muscular, athletic frame. Bill looks at this clown, collar still in hand, pulls him in, and goes, hey, clown, fuck you.